You have questions?
What is slashing?
We have answers.
Slashing is like that, you know?
Mm-hmm. And there's a penalty for that?
Yeah, you do that, you go to the box, 2 minutes by yourself, and you feel shame, and then you get free.
This is CBJ in 30.
Anything you folks want to know about the fascinating world of pro hockey, here we go.
Tweet your questions by using the hashtag CBJIN30.
We'd like to remind you folks, keep your questions within the boundaries of good taste.
Here's your host, Bob McGilligan.
Oh, yes, it's a game day here at Nationwide Arena. Preseason action, Blue Jackets and the Carolina Hurricanes going head-to-head for the second and final time of this preseason. Blue Jackets won the first game, and that was in Carolina, and they won it by the score of 4-3. And so the Carolina Hurricanes are hoping that they can get a little bit of revenge on the Blue Jackets tonight. And the Hurricanes are actually here. They're skating on the ice below me right now. And they were in St. Louis last night playing a game. So they're on a bit of a road trip, which you don't get, well, you don't get hardly ever in the preseason. So, and then, as I say, let there be light. There it is. I figured we could start it without the light because of what was coming from the ice here. And we're already running behind on a game day. So, you see, I knew how important this was to you. I knew it was important enough to get it going and not wait for things to be perfect. Because nothing in life's ever perfect. It's never going to get to that perfection. So we do what we do. And you find a way. And you muddle through it sometimes. But anyway, now we're good. Now we're set. It's perfect. So the Hurricanes here, they're skating on the ice right now at Nationwide Arena, getting ready for tonight's game against the Blue Jackets. A very good, solid veteran lineup in many cases for the Blue Jackets here tonight. And looking at the Carolina lineup for this evening, well, we're getting to that point where you've got a lot of, you're going to have a lot of NHL experienced guys that are in the lineup because it's your final tune-up or two before the regular season begins. So there are names on here that are regular names: Tim Gleason, Nathan Gerbe, Jay McClement, Zach Boychuk, John Michael Lyles, Patrick Dwyer. Who else is on here? Ron Hainsey is on here, former Blue Jacket. Brett Belmore, Cam Ward, the goaltender. So there's plenty of names for the Carolina Hurricanes as they are headed down the stretch in their camp as well. But the Blue Jackets, again, I'm not even going to read the lineup here. I'll just go right to the lines, the way they skated this morning. And let me preface this by saying, normally I'm not a big lines guy. I don't know why. I just think I guess it holds some significance. But it's not the end of the world to me to know the lines at 10 o'clock in the morning for a game at 7 o'clock at night. Yes, are there occasions it's helpful? Of course. Give you something to talk about? Yes, which is why I'm going to do it now. But, at the end of the day, lines are what they are, and if a guy goes out there and makes a mistake on his first shift, it could blow up all the lines anyway. However, what's interesting tonight is because you have these guys, these young guys that are pushing for a spot on this team, and this is going to be maybe their last opportunity, maybe their next to last opportunity, whatever it is. This is where you want to this is where it helps to look and see who they're playing with. Kind of give you a little sneak peek. We talked about this in Nashville the other night, maybe a sneak peek of what is to come for certain players. So here's the way they lined up today. You had Artem Anisimov and Scott Hartnell were playing with Marco Dano again. And in Nashville on Monday night, that line was really good. I thought those guys, either they made Marco Dano look really good or he just looked really good because he had good skill playing on either side of him. It's 6-1, half dozen of the other. It goes hand in hand. Marco Dano, showing that he is a good player. And you put him with two quality established NHL guys, gave him a chance to shine. I thought he did that on Monday in Nashville. He'll have that opportunity again here today. Alexander Wenberg's going to have another chance. He's playing between Cam Atkinson and Matt Calvert. So obviously what you have there is you have a lot of speed, and you've got Calvert, who's the gritty guy that's going to go in there and bang and crash around the net, small but gritty. We know all about Matt Calvert here over the last couple of years. Atkinson has been really speedy in this camp. He's used his legs very, very well. And then you've got Wenberg in the middle, extremely smart player who's going to dish the puck to both of those guys and be in a position to help out when he needs to be there. He'll be on the spot when he has to be there. That's what he's shown in this camp so far. So that looks, on paper, that's a great line. I'm looking forward to watching those three guys play together here tonight. Then you have Mark Letestu along with Nick Foligno and Simon Jarmelson. Again, Letestu, Foligno, that just clicks like nothing. And then Jarmelson has had a good camp here too, getting another opportunity to show that he should be here by the time we get to Buffalo next Thursday. And your fourth line has no surprise. Michael Chaput in the middle, Jared Boll on one side, and Corey Tropp is back in the lineup tonight. He will play on the other side. So that one especially that could be your fourth line next week in Buffalo. Easily could be your fourth line in Buffalo next week. Michael Chaput is playing his, what game is this? This is the 7th preseason game. He's playing in his 6th one. And I just asked Todd Richards a couple of minutes ago if that was by design, if they wanted him to go out there. And, they had the chance to look at him for 17 games last year. So I didn't know if, they wanted to see him early and then they saw good things and they wanted to put him out there and see if he would be consistently good game in and game out. And Todd said no, there was just kind of a plan going into the preseason as to who to play when. But the way that Michael has played has given him more opportunities to play in different situations, and he really liked him on the penalty kill the other night in Nashville, so he's back in there tonight. But, I said this yesterday, if it were me, Michael Chaput's a lock on this team, and I think he gets closer and closer every time he hits the ice. I really do. If he's not here next Thursday, I would be shocked. Shocked if he's not on this team next Thursday. And that doesn't mean that he won't be, or he will be or it won't be, because I'm not the general manager. I'm just saying I would be shocked if he's not on this roster next Thursday when the puck drops in Buffalo, because he's played that well. He has. And then defensively, Tim Erickson was with James Wisniewski, Jack Johnson and David Savard. Fedor Tutin was playing with Dalton Prout this morning. Sergei Bobrovsky will go in between the pipes and is expected to play the entire game tonight here against Carolina. So this should be a good game. It should. Again, the Hurricanes on the road. They came here after being in St. Louis. They actually stayed overnight, so it's not like they're traveling day of game. They're getting the regular morning skate in right now, and they'll go eat, and they'll take their nap, and they'll come back here and play. It'll be a regular game day for these guys tonight. And for the Blue Jackets, again, it's just a chance to go out there for really, I think it's fair to say, for the first time in the preseason, to go back out with almost the same thing you had the other night. What are the changes here tonight? It's just that Prout is in for Golubev. And then you have Calvert and Tropp coming into the lineup. D'Amigo and Reichel go out of the lineup tonight. And again, don't read anything into any of that. That's just letting guys play and seeing them in different situations. Simple as that. But those are all the changes. You've got 3 changes from Monday night. That's it. So, it's a chance to come back out and try to build on something that you did on Monday. And you don't have a lot of opportunities to do that in preseason until you get to this point. Until it gets down to the end when you have a pretty good idea of who's going to make the team, who's not, who's going to play with whom, and all that stuff. So that's where the Blue Jackets are right now. So that should make this a good game tonight. 7 o'clock here at Nationwide Arena is when it will get underway. So with all of that being said, and I know that was all of it. That was a lot of it. Let's get right to it and see what you have on your mind today. Again, you just tweet the question and you use the hashtag CBJin30, and it's a very simple thing to do. So let me go back. I've got to roll back here and see where all this started. See, I'm not complaining about this at all. Don't take this the wrong way, but on a game day, usually I try to keep tabs in the morning as you're sending your questions in and have a little bit of an idea, when it started, where to go to, what time of the day, and have an idea what was asked. But on a game day, you roll with it. And it's a game day. It's a great day. It's a great day. Let's see. CBJ or Die is going to have the first question of the day. And that is, does Cam Atkinson have the potential to be the first-line right winger in replace of a Nathan Horton, or is he a stretch to hold that role? Yeah, absolutely. He has the potential to do it. No question. And the way he's played in camp, the way he's played in preseason games, yeah, he could be that. He's a different player than Nathan Horton, obviously. Nathan Horton's a big power forward, going to go hard to the net, run you over on his way there. That's not Cam Atkinson's game. His game is different. His game is speed and getting through the neutral zone and, creating with his legs and just kind of buzzing around the net, and you can't catch him before he's already set where he needs to be with a stick on the ice to take a shot. So they're different types of players, but it doesn't mean that he doesn't have the ability to skate on the first line and do the job. But again, this is me. I think we get all caught up in this first line, second line, third line stuff, and even though it truly exists, I think it's more accurate to say top six, bottom six, because your first and second lines are, if you have a good team, they're virtually interchangeable. And when you get to the third line, their role's a little bit different. That's more of a defensive-oriented group, and you get scoring out of them. That's great, but they're leaning a little bit more toward defense than offense. And then when you get to the fourth line, that's a checking line, energy line. Any goals that you get out of those guys, that's a real big bonus. So I'm not saying they can't score. I'm just saying their roles are defined a little bit differently. So, I would prefer to talk about Cam Atkinson in the top six. It's going to be a top six. Now, maybe some days he'll play more minutes than the other guy that's playing on the other line on the same wing. You know what I mean? So it's kind of interchangeable, if you ask me. But does he have the ability to be the big-time guy on one of those lines? And if it's the line that gets the most minutes one night and you want to deem them as the top line, yeah, absolutely. No doubt. All right, let's see. Let's go on here. W.S. Rutherford says, which of the youngsters make the opening night roster, in your opinion? Again, my opinion right now is I think the guys that have the edge are, Michael Chaput and Alexander Wenberg. I think they have the edge. And Wenberg plays center. That helps with no Ryan Johansson. You want a guy that can play center. Michael Chaput, what he's done goes without saying. He's been great. He's arguably been the best player in camp. So I think, he's there. He's on the fourth line. That frees up Mark Letestu. We talked about this yesterday. Frees up Mark Letestu to either move up and play center on a different line or play on the wing, which he can do. You've got no Boone Jenner. Maybe a Mark Letestu on the wing is something that appeals to the coaching staff, and Alexander Wenberg in the middle being a third-line center and having the ability. And I think with Alexander, if it happens, if it starts and he's a third-line center, as he gets more acclimated to the NHL, I think he's smart enough and talented enough that he could move up pretty quickly if they want him to play more minutes and play in a bigger role. So those are the two guys that I'm looking at right now, and I'm saying I think these two guys have the best shot. And that's not saying that a Dano wouldn't make it. I had a conversation with Todd Richards a little bit ago where he basically said with Marco Dano, he sees him as somebody that can either play in that top six or he could even play a fourth-line checking type of a role if that's what they needed him to do. Now, he didn't say that. He just said there's more decisions that have to be made here. So he doesn't see Marco Dano as, well, he's got to be here or we can't use him. He's looking at him saying, here is probably ideal, but if we have to move somebody from here to here for experience, then he might be able to play here and gain some experience. So, so there's still a lot of open possibilities. It would be easy to say, Kirby Reichel, you look at what he's done in junior, and he's a power guy. And if you're looking for a winger to replace Boone Jenner, if you're looking for somebody that's going to play with tenacity and toughness and all of that stuff, based on Kirby Reichel, what you've seen from him and what his junior career has been, you could see that as being a possibility. And again, I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying he could be the same type of player. Now, has he had the camp to this point to earn that kind of a role or earn that kind of a look early? I don't know. To me, the two best guys in camp that were kind of not on the radar coming in. Wenberg was on the radar, but I'm just saying, as I preach to you all the time, you don't have to force them into roles. They can go to Springfield and get ready if that's what it takes. And Wenberg being a guy you could send to Springfield and get him ready, that's one thing. But for all the guys coming in that were kind of on the bubble, I think Chaput and Wenberg have performed to a point where you have to have really serious consideration about them making this club. That's what I think. The hockey song guy says, although should be singing, Who do you think is the quote-unquote Cinderella team in the NHL this season? The Cinderella team. I don't know if there will be a Cinderella team in the NHL this season. I'll tell you why. Because I think if you are borderline out of the playoffs, this might be the year you want to be out of the playoffs. I'm not saying anybody's going to tank it. I'm not saying anybody wants to intentionally lose. None of that. But the draft coming up in June has Connor McDavid in it. Connor McDavid has been talked about for the last 2-3 years. He is finally going to be draft eligible. And there is talk of him being the next Sidney Crosby type draft pick, the next Nathan McKinnon draft pick. No, Nathan McKinnon had a great year for Colorado last year. They're expecting more great things out of him. Every so often, the guy comes along that can really help to shape a franchise, and that's what the talk is on Connor McDavid. So, if you're, if you're not great, how not great do you want to be, or how you would? Again, I'm not saying they're going to intentionally not play well, but you want to be in that mix. You have a chance. If you have good young players and then you had a chance to add a guy like that and really help it to take off, that would be advantageous to have that kind of a player. So I don't know. I really don't know what I'm saying. But a Cinderella team, see, I don't think when I look at it, let's see, when we look at the East, I guess – this is tough. This is a good question, actually, because I haven't thought a lot about everybody else. I'm thinking more about the Blue Jackets. To say that Washington could be a Cinderella team would only be because they weren't in the playoffs last year. And they did add some guys in the offseason. They changed coaches. They've got Barry Trotz there. They have Mitch Korn as their new goaltending coach, and Braden Holtby has been terrible ever since his first year. And a lot of those issues, there was a lot of talk last year, a lot of back channel talk about goaltending coaching being an issue with Braden Holtby, and they were trying to change a lot of things about him, and which I understand wanting to change a guy and make him better, but some of the things that I had heard were almost like tearing him down and rebuilding his mechanics, and he was pretty good when he came up. So Mitch Korn's going in there. He's got a great reputation as being a good goalie coach, working well with goalies. So maybe they rise from the ashes there. Maybe Brooks Orpik and Matt Niskanen are really good for those guys. And Ovechkin not only scores 50 goals, but plays defense once a week or something like that. But I don't know. I'm just looking. I mean, Carolina is there. To me, they're okay. They're not. I don't think they're going to be great. Jordan Stahl's out for a long period of time. And just looking at the teams in the East that didn't make the playoffs last year, I think Tampa, on paper, Tampa's really good. Boston's going to be there. Montreal's going to be there. I think Pittsburgh will still be there, maybe not to the height that they've been in the past, but I still think they're going to be there. Philly and New York, I don't know what kind of an effect their off seasons are going to have on them, especially New York, because they've changed a lot. But so when looking at that, maybe if Washington gets back in the playoffs, they spend a boatload of money. So if they are to be Cinderella, they bought the glass slipper and the coach, and they paid off the fairy godmother too. That's how much money they spent in the offseason. All right. Chauncey McDermott, any updates on Ryan Johansson? No. That's an easy one. Jeg Coughlin III. I'm not picking on you. I'm not picking on you, Jeg, but when I read that in the third, I just think of, if you're old enough and you watch Gilligan's Island back in the day, Thurston Howell III, as soon as I see that, in my mind, I read your question, and it sounds like this. Do you expect to see Chapu and Wenberg take central roles in tonight's game? That's how I hear it. It's not how you said it, and I'm not I'm not poking fun at you. I'm just telling you how this is a sick mind sometimes. It's sick. Things happen. It triggers a whole bunch of stuff in there. I just don't get it. I can be walking down the street. I see a sign, a song pops in there. Somebody says something to me. A movie quote comes out of left field. It's just like that. It's just like that. Just wanted to open it up to you. But Jake, to answer your question, do I expect to see Chaput and Wenberg take a central role in tonight's game? I do. This is their time. If they want to be on this team, now is the time. And Chaput's been doing that all along. I think they've both been doing that all along. And I've talked about Wenberg. His role may not be as obvious to you. Not a lot of flash, but a lot of substance, a lot of consistency. That's what he's been doing throughout this camp. I think they're going to play big roles tonight. I do. I fully believe that these two guys are hell-bent on being on this roster, and they're going to find a way. That's what I think. And coming off of that, Father Greg Olszewski, I hope that's right. Forgive me, Father, if it's not. How healthy is the overall roster? Any big health concerns right now? Well, the Boone Jenner thing is the biggest concern. Boone Jenner and Nathan Horton, they're the big concerns. Brandon Dubinsky is skating. He's over in the practice rink right now. He's doing some skating. He's been a little bit sore. Matt Calvert was sore, so they held him out the other day, but he's back in the lineup tonight. Ryan Murray is skating. Todd Richards was asked this morning if he could possibly play on Saturday, and he said he hasn't gotten to the point to get updated about whether or not he could play this Saturday. And then the question was asked, if he doesn't play in any preseason games, would you be comfortable throwing him in next week if he's ready to play? And Todd said, of course I would. And of course he should. You would like for him to have a preseason, but it's not necessary. We saw that last year. It's not necessary. This kid knows how to play. As long as his health is good, his mind is excellent. He will make the plays. He'll be steady. He'll do everything he needs to do. He's like the least. I am the least concerned of all the guys that are not 100%. To me, he's my least concern. I know what he's going to bring. Steady on the back end, guaranteed. That's what he is. Oh, what else do we have here tonight? Nate Orsini says, I'm tardy to the party. I like that. See, creative. I like creativity, Nate. Way to throw it out there. Will we see one or more guys from the 2013 first round to make the roster? Since you admitted to being late to the party, and that's okay. I've done that. I've walked into interviews where, guys are in a group, they're talking to somebody, and I get in there late, and I'm like, I know this question was asked. I guarantee this question was asked, and I wasn't here because I was finishing something over there. So you just go in and say, I'm sure you answered this, but I was not here, and you ask it. So, Nate, you've done a great job. You've handled it very, very, very well. Again, I think Alexander Wenberg's got the best shot of that group of winding up on the opening night roster. Right now, today, at this moment, I think of those three guys, he's got the best shot. But, again, they like the other guys too. Let's see. What else do we have here? Aaron Wollman. Since talks are quote-unquote civil with Ryan Johansson, if he comes back during the season, will we lose players to waivers? No, I don't think so. Let's say you keep a Wenberg and then a Johansson comes back and you want Wenberg to get more seasoning and you send him down to Springfield. He doesn't have to clear waivers, so you don't lose anything there. I guess the way I really want to answer this question, Aaron, is that if Ryan Johansson comes back, to me, anybody that you lose on waivers would be, if you're going to get back a guy that has the potential to be a premier centerman in this league for a long time, I think that's going to be more important than any guy you might lose on waivers. I'm not trying to downplay anybody else. I'm just saying that maybe I should be more concerned about waivers. Maybe I should. I know management is. But, there have been so many times. Here's this just hit me, to be honest. Here's my thing with waivers. When you spend all that time in the minor leagues, for 10 years I sat in Syracuse, and you would watch the NHL roster, and you would hope that you would say, oh, this guy came back, so now they're not going to need this other guy, and he'll be coming down, because those were always guys that were going to make your team better immediately. If they came down and they put any effort into their game, your team was going to get better immediately. And you'd look at it, and then you would see that at times they would be afraid to pass a guy through waivers because they're afraid that he got taken. And I only recall, and there was probably more than one, but I only recall one time that happened. And that was Todd Roloff, who was a defenseman. And that one hurt because he really could have helped the blue line there, and somebody else took him. So, it seems like it's always a concern, but to me, and again, when I was there, and I paid a lot more attention to it then, probably, to be honest with you. But it seemed like more times than not, the guy got through, and he made it down, and then he could come back up. So, but if Ryan Johansson comes back, really, to me, whoever's going out is going to get, more work. And if they had to go through waivers and they got picked up, you still got one of the best centermen in the league back in your lineup. So you'll deal with it. What else do we have? I got anything else here today that I can get through? I know it's already at the end. So, yeah. That looks like where we will leave it today, as a matter of fact. How about that? I want to remind you, found one more. John Jung has this one. Do you think Fedor Tutin can improve his offensive game to 30-plus points like his first 2 years? Interesting. Can he? Yeah, I think he could get a lot of points. I don't know that he needs to. I don't know that that's the priority because of the other guys. Wisniewski's going to get a lot of points. I think Ryan Murray's point total is going to go up. Jack Johnson is going to have points. I think if it's spread out and they all get a little bit, that's fine. Because one thing about Fedor Tutin, I don't know if he ever gets all the credit he deserves for being a defender, but he's solid. I mean, he's good. I mean, it's helpful to be a good defender when you're a defenseman. But to me, when he gets the occasional goal and picks up the points, that's almost gravy because he does so many good things, blocking shots, staying in his lane, taking a guy off the puck so there is no shot the other way. Again, points are a bonus. And to ask if a guy can get to where he was in his first 2 years as he gets older, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he can get to that, but as long as he's contributing and he's doing the things that he does well, I think that's really all you can ask of him and anybody else for that matter. We all overthink it, don't we, John? We're so smart, we overthink it sometimes. We'll see what happens. And we'll see what happens tonight. Blue Jackets, Carolina Hurricanes, 7 o'clock here at Nationwide Arena. Oh, somebody asked me any ticket specials. Go to the promotions page at BlueJackets.com. I'm not sure, so go to BlueJackets.com and check it out. We'll have a live video stream tonight and have the game on the radio network. Face-off set for Suck. I will talk to you then.
Talk to you later. Don't want to hear it again tonight. I'll talk to you later. Just save it for another guy. I'll talk to you later. Don't want to hear it again tonight. I'll just see you around.